guys. I'd like to welcome you back to our podcast. This is the Silverstone episode. So the first Silverstone episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have quite a lot to talk about, Ivan. Even though the race was really boring. But
Yeah,
the end got
90%
really
was
interesting.
disgustingly boring.
But it got really interesting. But before we start, there's something I want to speak about. I want to speak about the Racing Point and Reynolds protests, because this is going to be very, very interesting. What was said during practice was that if right now Reynolds keeps on protesting, and so right now I think Ivan, the FIA has taken it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, the
So,
protest first came when?
yes,
Back in Hungary, I think was the first one? Or even earlier.
they were,
No, it was
they were
Austria.
gonna
It was
start.
the second
No,
Austrian.
they were actually going to start in Spain, but they held back. And the guy said they're going to keep protesting till the day the FIA actually takes a closer look at the car. So you see, what was said on Friday was that these guys are going to keep on, and the moment FIA says Racing Point's car is not legal, it's gonna, let's say, now see, it'll be Racing Point, they'll have to build another car or something like, or they'll have to take last year's car. So
They'll
what
have to
they're gonna
modify,
do,
yeah.
yes, what they're gonna do, they're going to appeal. And we all know what, like once you're deemed illegal, you have to appeal. Once you appeal, what happens? You know, it's no longer FIA that takes on. It's now real, you take it to proper court. And you see what's going to happen in the court, they're going to call on both Mercedes and Racing Point, and they're going to call on things from Mercedes to actually compare. If the cars, and this is the thing, once that is done, the Mercedes car is going to go public to everyone. So I don't think guys want, okay, there are guys who want to get to that level because guys want to copy what Mercedes is doing. Do you get my point?
The aero package.
The aero and everything, yes, guys want to copy, but see what they're going to release. I think they're going to start with the brake ducts. That's the first main point, you see. So we are still waiting because I think there was something issued by the FIA, I think yesterday, if I'm not wrong.
It was 2 days ago that they're saying that it's now taken into investigation properly.
Yes, they now, and if now this the goodness of this Ivan, so we are going. I have a feeling we're going to see another 207, because if Racing Point is deemed illegal, they're going to appeal. If FIA says that Racing Point is legal, Renault is gonna appeal. So either way, we're still gonna have an appeal from either team. You see?
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, I mean, it was expected from testing times. Everyone from the fans to the teams sort of semi-complained about how this year's Racing Point just looks like a copy of last year's Mercedes. So I'm surprised it's taken this long for it to get to this stage, but yeah.
But
this was expected.
Ivan, we didn't expect it to get that serious, because remember last year Haas had copied Ferrari's car. Like,
I mean, even this year, if you look at Haas, it's the same. The difference is Haas is still terrible, but Racing Point is actually almost on the podium scale.
Haas has a big... Okay, Racing Point this weekend was really bad for them. First of all, Perez got COVID-19. He was replaced by Hülkenberg, which I think that was the perfect, because they weren't gonna be. Van Dorn is in Formula E, and I think he's fighting for the title. And we don't want Gutierrez back, to be honest.
Yeah.
We don't want. So Hülkenberg was the perfect replacement for Chico.
And so this is the thing, like a lot of people didn't talk much about his performance. Obviously he didn't start the race, but throughout practice and qualifying, this guy hasn't even trained, let alone raced in how many months, and yet he was keeping up with Stroll. Like they were separated by 2/10 or 1/10 in qualifying. It was no time at all. So it actually shows that this guy still has the talent, and yeah, he's a good replacement for Racing Point if they can actually get him to start a race.
Because you know what I was thinking, by the way, this guy might be dragging for that Racing Point seat, to be honest. He might be, but rumors are still coming out that, they were meant to confirm if Vettel was meant to come to Racing Point on 2nd, but that was when Chico got sick. You
Yeah.
see, so they didn't want to. They felt like it would have been unfair to Chico, so they decided to keep quiet about it for a bit longer. But let's see. But one thing I think that's going to I feel like Hulkenberg right now is going to fight for an F1 seat, and next year this guy is going to get a seat. He is going to get a seat, and hopefully he gets a podium this season. I really hope in that because he's racing till Chico. I don't think Chico will be ready this weekend, and I don't think he'll be ready the weekend after this.
No, this weekend definitely not. They already said that he has to at least obey the 10 days minimum isolation.
Yes.
So definitely he's not racing this weekend, but next weekend we don't know. But at least for this coming weekend, Hulkenberg is still going to be racing.
And another thing, I saw Paul Di Resta is preparing himself. I don't know what's going on. Did you read that article?
No, I didn't see. I don't think he's too old and too out of it. I don't think he's going to be
No,
doing
he's
anything.
actually. I don't know what he's doing this weekend because it's. I think McLaren anniversary or something.
No, it's just the 70 years of F1
Oh yes,
this
yes,
weekend.
yes. The 70 years of F1. I saw. I'm not sure what I should have read that article. Anyway, let's move on to the topic. Last
The
weekend.
race, yeah.
So we can start from practice. The Mercedes really. Do you know Friday? I don't know if you did you watch FP1.
No, I don't. I don't usually watch Friday sessions. I don't think they're interesting enough. I usually watch Saturday
Now-
onwards.
Now, Mercedes was struggling in the heat on Friday FP1. Like you could properly see these guys were properly struggling in the heat. And the guy said that this weekend is gonna be hotter. Because you know from Saturday temperature had gone down completely, yeah?
Yeah, it was a lot colder.
Guys, they were even saying it was gonna rain. So, but on Friday, Mercedes was really, really struggling with the heat. Racing Point as well. That's why Racing Point put up. I don't think they went fastest. I think they went fastest during FP1, and that was only Stroll.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
can't
That
really
I'll have to
remember,
confirm.
but it wasn't Mercedes. All like that was what I was playing. Okay, in Ferrari, Vettel is struggling in Ferrari. I don't know what's going on. But
Oh,
they're really,
if
really
you
struggling in
watch.
Ferrari.
Oh, actually, okay, we'll discuss this later because there's some breaking
Uh-huh.
news that just happened as we were recording this about Bottas' contract. But yeah, he just signed a new deal till 2020, till the end of 2021. So
that was
that's
expected.
yes. So that's just
That
some
was
breaking
expected.
news that just happened. Bottas signs and stays with Mercedes till the end of 2021. So that's yeah. But yeah, as going back to Vettel, did you see his radio call at the end of the race?
What
Did you hear? He didn't say anything. So they were like, it's Binotto came on the radio and so like, you know, this is a disappointing result. We're sorry for this. We'll try and improve the car all day. And Vettel just kept quiet. Like he didn't
I
even
know.
answer him back.
But there's something I read that Ferrari right now is giving Leclerc all the updates. Vettel ain't getting shit. Vettel has the fast car. You see that fast car that we saw during pre-season testing? Because Vettel you remember after the second race in Austria when they brought upgrades to both the cars and that's where Vettel just lost pace completely. Because I remember if the first race Vettel, before he spun out, Vettel had pace. The second race, things just went out the window completely. Before even they hit each other. Dude, they were struggling in practice. Practice, they couldn't do long run pace. This guy's pace was just all over the place. It wasn't good. So, Vettel right now, I feel like he's driving now the slow car. Because Charles was pulling away from the McLarens.
Yeah, Charles.
Like,
This
so that
even Norris
on
said on
race
his live stream later, like a lot of
race
guys are
pace-
bashing Ferrari right now, but Ferrari is
Yeah.
still way faster than the midfield
Dude,
in proper
They were
pace.
pulling. Did you see when the safety car? Okay, the Mercedes gap is what is. Mercedes is so far ahead. I don't see any team closing that gap. What we need failures. We need the car to start failing for us to have interesting races. You see, but we already accepted that this season is theirs. We're going to have a boring. So we're going to have a couple of boring races. Some maybe tracks. And by the way, guys, there'll be new. The calendar has been updated. There'll be Imola, Portimao, and Nürburgring finally coming back to the F1 calendar. You see, and those three tracks, those are drivers, especially Portimao is a proper driver's track, man. So, And now I'm saying Mercedes this season they're so far ahead because Ivan, that fast safety car. Did you see the way Hamilton pulled a gap on his own teammate?
No, it
Do you know
wasn't
it
really
was
that bad. It
impressive?
wasn't. I
Yeah.
think if you watch the entire race, the gap between Bottas and Hamilton was always under 2 seconds until they
Actually,
got the
I,
tire
no,
problems.
Ivan.
But the
Before we
gap
got
between them and Verstappen, that was the and Verstappen
that
and then
was
Leclerc was embarrassing because it was like
that
10
was that
seconds in
was
within
that
five
was
laps.
really that was really it was actually it was I think it was more that was really because these guys were lapping like 2 seconds quicker. It was
Yeah, I
actually
mean there
so
were I think two
they
pit
were on
stop gaps
fire,
ahead
man.
of Leclerc and one pit stop gap
Dude,
ahead of Verstappen.
they were on fire. And then now another thing, Ivan. I don't know if you read about Danny Kvyat's accident. You know it was tire failure.
No, I mean
His
we
tire
saw it from the
was
start. I don't know why anyone else doubted it. You could see his rear
tire
tire
deflated.
failed.
Yes, his rear tire, and I think that should have been the first sign for everyone that they had tires or not. You remember I told you, Ivan, I said in the group, Mercedes need to pull that. If they pulled that pit stop, they would have won that race 1-2. Let me not lie to you. Because the moment I saw Bottas complained, I think was it like 15 laps? 15 laps before the finish, Bottas started complaining. He said that he has some very, very funny vibrations. And it got to a point where Bottas said, I cannot see anymore. I don't know, did you hear that really? Bottas, he said, I cannot
Yeah,
see anymore. I can't see
yeah, he has
anything at all."
visibility issues because of the rubber coming off onto his visor.
Yes. And also the vibrations he was getting from the car. And then the moment the camera went onto Bottas' car and I saw that tire, I knew this guy wasn't gonna finish that race. If they didn't pit him, Hamilton was one I didn't expect it from. But from Bottas, I kind of expected it from Bottas. And then another thing is Charles. Did you watch the notebook after the race? Ted Kravitz's notebook.
No,
There's
didn't
something
see.
that he said. He went and talked to Christian about the tires, and Christian said they were not willing to take that gamble because when Max pitted and they took off that tire had where the line, they were forming a
Oh,
kind
they had
of
cuts
line.
in the tire. I know that. I
Yes,
know
they were
about that.
forming a line, and inside that line, it had about more than 100 small cuts in that line. So the chance of Max also finishing would have been a big issue. But the goodness is Ferrari got a podium. I was happy with that.
This is
Even
just
though
like
your man Bottas,
Leclerc got a podium by doing nothing all race. Like he did nothing. This is like I think he doesn't count this as even a podium. Because imagine you spend 51 laps doing nothing, seeing nobody, racing with no one, and then you overtake a broken Mercedes at the end and get a podium.
dude. And now, do you know what makes it so interesting is that this weekend we are gonna have teams that will go for a 3-stop. Because right now, no
No,
one
because
is
they're gonna change the tire compounds. That's what I've
No,
heard.
they said no. Pirelli said they're not gonna do that. For now, they're going to stick to whatever it is. So teams are going to have to go on to a 3-stop, and that is Mercedes will have to do a 3-stop. Red Bull will have to do a 3-stop. That changes I think that will change the game a bit for Red Bull because Mercedes can start from last and still pass everyone. Like it's not even fair. Maybe Max may put up a fight, but you see, it still isn't fair for everyone else. And then Renault had a very, very good finish.
Yeah.
Race. Fourth by Ricardo. If it wasn't for Carlos Sainz also having tire failure, man, that ending, that was a good. I don't think have we had an ending that good. Okay, Brazil last year and beginning and first race of F1. That was. But this was the most unexpected ending because the race was so boring. There was no action on track. Okay, the only action. We need to speak about this Grosjean. What the hell was that?
It's Haas has gone to the point of they have no pace, and the only thing they can do is do like stupid strategies just to hope that there's a chance they can finish on the points. That's all they're doing right now.
Did you hear Carlos Sainz's comment on Grosjean after the race?
I didn't watch after the race interviews. Kind of stopped after that.
where he said, "Thank God I got past Grosjean with his dangerous driving." Oh my God, I'm telling you, it was so bad, eh? But Grosjean, I think that was the dumbest move I've ever seen in F1. Because everyone else has pit, you still haven't gone in for a pit stop. When you go in, of course, you're gonna come out last. Like, what was that? You know, if you
Yeah.
pit when everyone else pit, he would have gotten up. Maybe he would have finished in the points, but
No,
was just
they'll
stupid,
never
man.
finish in the points. Haas is
Yeah.
slower than Williams. They can't. This
Yeah.
is the thing. They can't finish in the points. They have no pace. So that's why they're doing
That's
these stupid strategies. Because it's like, okay, we're slower than Williams. What do we do to at least help us? So do stupid things like this. Maybe it will help.
But now that was the dumbest strategy I've ever seen because it didn't help anyone. You see, it put Grosjean Quanta in a worse position than everyone else. This guy Pete and then Albon. Where Alex Albon, man? I don't know what's going on. I think he has too much pressure in that team.
No, Red Bull said themselves that the car that they have for Albon is terrible and that they need to improve on it. They publicly said that themselves before the weekend even started. So I don't think it's anything because he's driving perfectly fine. You can just see that that car is struggling more than Max's car.
No, but
And
funny thing, Ivan, is that FP1, Max and Albon both complained at the same time about the same thing. They both had understeer in between the corners. Both of them, they both complained. This was the fact. This was the weirdest thing, by the way. None of us expected it. First complaint came from Max. The second radio was Albon complaining about the same thing. So I don't know if Max is overdriving that car, man.
yeah,
Let's
this
just
you
put it
can't
that way.
compare. Max is on his own league, so you can't
Max,
directly just be like, oh, if Max is driving this well, why isn't Albon? Because he's
why
Max
is Albon?
Verstappen. Like
Yes.
he's on a completely different level to everyone else. And I don't think Albon is as bad as people say he is because if you look at Gasly last season, Gasly was performing 3 times worse. If Gasly had started at the back, because if you remember, Albon had to start at the back after he had
In
that
Spa.
collision because he had a drive-through penalty. He was dead last, and he still finished in
That
the
was,
points.
yeah. Yes.
There's no way Gasly would finish in the points if he was starting last in a Red Bull last season.
Ivan. But now this is the thing, eh? Gasly, after he was demoted, he started overdriving. He started overdriving
Yeah, he had to prove a point.
Alpha Tauri. You see, it's not like I don't know. Okay, you know he's fighting for that seat also, because he doesn't want.
No,
to be
they
out
won't
of
swap
contract
him.
next
There's
year.
no, yeah,
You see?
they've already said
Yeah.
there's not going to be a swap of seats anymore.
There's not gonna. No, they won't swap him. I'm saying like he doesn't want to lose the Alpha Tauri seat also.
No, he wanted
You see?
who is he going to lose it to? To
Yeah.
what was it? His closest competitor is Kvyat, and Kvyat isn't doing anything.
No, Kvyat may lose. I don't see him being in F1 next year. They might bring in some young guy from F2.
Yeah, maybe,
Kvyat,
but yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think
see
Gasly
him.
is losing that AlphaTauri spot unless
Okay,
he
no.
leaves.
Gasly has been on a roll on that Alpha Tauri because he's been overperforming the car. You see, Gasly has really fought. If you drove that way in Red Bull, Gasly would be battling Max right now. You see, but now the guy decided to up his pace in the Alpha. What for? But anyway, it's not like he's doing a really good job. And then McLaren, Lando. Did you hear Lando complaining? Lando telling the team to tell Carlos, "Can you move?" Yeah.
No,
There's a
but those
comment
guys,
again
those
that-
guys are still like proper teammates. They did so many moves to put them in, and like the whole blocking of Renault
No,
when they're all
but
three
this is the
battling
thing.
together. They're still together. They are not fighting each
They are
other
not.
like bad
Those
competitors.
two-
They're helping
those
each other
two-
out.
Those two are the perfect. No, why Lando was telling Carlos to get the move on was because Ricardo was getting really close. You see, and if he had the arrest range, he would have taken them down so damn easy. So he needed Carlos to just increase the gap a bit so that he can also get moving and and increase the gap between him and the Reynolds. You see, but Lando and Carlos, I find those two being the perfect teammates, man. Those two are. I think Charles will have a problem with Carlos next year, man. Charles is gonna have a very very big problem. It's I don't think he'll treat Charles the way he's treating Lando. So next year, Ferrari's team is gonna be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
What else do you want to speak about?
I do wanna
Yeah.
see like the whole ending as well, because like I see a lot of people saying like this is the one of the greatest finishes we've ever had in F1. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just
Finishes in
saw
terms of
people
what?
get punches and crawl at a stop to the finish line. How is that one of the
Okay,
greatest
okay.
finishes you've ever
No,
seen?
Ivan, that was the most unexpected win we have ever seen. Cause no one, dude, the moment Hamilton's car got a puncture, like none of us. Not, do you know? I was falling. To be honest, I was falling asleep. I was dozing off, and then I saw Bottas go off. The moment I saw that dude, I stood up. I don't even know why I was in bed. I stood up immediately. Because that was so unexpected. Because I was like, my prediction has come correct. If I had only put it in a bet or something, you see. And then, Ivan, another thing, Pirelli was going to do a Silverstone FP2 tire test, and they cancelled. They said no. They were going to do, Friday FP2. They were going to do a tire test, but they cancelled that test. So they said this will make things interesting. You know, we need such things to make F1. Because if the tires were perfect by now, it would have been such a boring race. At least we got to see some action. You see.
Yeah. I mean,
even though
this,
it was,
yeah, it was, the thing is, like, I don't know why people were, like, getting worried for Hamilton. He was, like, what, 40 seconds ahead of Verstappen when his tire failed. And he was already more than halfway around the track. There was, like, he had to fully stop for Max to ever catch up with him. So I don't know why people were worried about that part.
Max wasn't gonna catch him. And let me not lie to you. If Max didn't pit, we never know. Max may have not even finished that race. You see, Max would have gone through this. Ferrari would have been number 2.
Yeah, that's why I'm disappointed. Like I just read that all Pirelli are changing is the tire pressures, so they're allowing teams to run higher tire pressure this weekend. But like they should do the complete opposite. They shouldn't have stuck with the same thing. They should have even given them softer compounds, because this, as of right now, no one can catch Mercedes. No one will ever catch Mercedes, which is why I was so disappointed by the weekend, because the only person that would give us an interesting title fight got screwed over.
Bottas.
Like, because Bottas is the only person right now who can challenge Hamilton, and he got screwed over. So if we're gonna get any excitement now, we have to have stuff like this happening, you know, unpredicted tire compounds, unpredicted tire life, just so at least there's something happening. But you know, they're not probably gonna do that.
So it makes things very, very interesting for us, you see, because right now we are having really boring races, man. Like honestly, we know Mercedes is so far ahead. Teams need to cheat. Like we really need teams. Honestly, teams just need to start cheating.
We need Red Bull from 2012 again, where every race they had a new cheating device.
Thank you. Red Bull needs to start cheating, and Ferrari again, so that we can have proper. Because remember, Silverstone last year was interesting. The battle between Max and Charles, the battle between Bottas and Hamilton, that was some proper wheel-to-wheel action, man. This year, the Max wheel-to-wheel we've seen is
nothing. Max did nothing again all race, and he finished second place.
Dude, the Max did was telling his team to hydrate, man. That is a Max.
That's how bored he was the entire race.
Dude,
like
that race was just bad. I don't think we've ever seen anything that was that. It's a whole other level of boring. Like we really need F1 to do something, but hopefully this weekend we're going to see 3 stopping. The teams are gonna 3 stop, and that strategy now, that one will be quite interesting, because Ferrari might get another podium, because we are slow. We are not struggling on the hard tires like the other teams.
Yeah, that comes as a benefit of being slow. Yeah. You're not as bad on the tires as the fast guys.
So this is the thing. We might pass Max if Max goes for a 3-stopper. We might pass Max, but Max also created a big gap between him and Charles.
Yeah. So Max was a pit stop ahead of Charles. Yes. Bottas was 2 or 3 pit stops ahead of Charles, and then between Max and Bottas there was also another pit stop. So it was quite a big, until obviously Bottas's tires started to give out, because when Hamilton and Bottas were together. So they were always between 1 to 2 seconds. There were never a bigger gap than that until the
Actually,
tires started to fail.
what happened, Ivan, was that I think the last 5 or 4 laps, that was when you could see the gap would slowly start increasing, and it had gone
No, it
to
wasn't slowly, it was
just,
massive. It was increasing by
just
seconds
before,
every lap.
no, before the gap between Max and Bottas, just before his tire failure, the gap was, I think, 5 seconds between Max and between Bottas and Hamilton. And this is the thing, once I saw Bottas' tire failure, I had a feeling, I was like, there's no tire management that's going to save Hamilton from this shit. I had a feeling he was also going to get a tire failure, and he did. So we wanna see more tire failures this weekend. That's really what we are looking into.
It's not tire
That's-
failures. We want to see teams not knowing how long the tires last.
How long the tires last. And Pirelli needs to start doing that. You see, Pirelli right now is giving Mercedes what they want. I don't know if you've noticed that. Because Mercedes is getting everything they want. Because there was a time they even went for tire testing with Pirelli, and you're not allowed to do that. Sometime last year. And teams found that out, teams really complained. You see. So, let me see what else. Another thing is that during qualifying, Renault had the quickest sector 1.
Mm. Yeah, Renault did well this weekend. Well, Ricciardo did well. Ocon was being an Ocon, but yeah, Ricciardo was actually doing quite well.
I'm sure Alonso is hoping that. I hope that's a kind hit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why so many people hyped Ocon out. I mean, like, when I was watching him in the past seasons, I didn't think he was as good as everyone else was saying. And now he's taking a break, he's coming back, and he's losing to Ricciardo, like, convincingly. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna be staying there for too long once Alonso arrives.
Ocon is good. Ocon being French, you know, the French being a French team and him French, that relation is gonna be strong. But Ocon really needs to up his game, man.
Against Alonso especially, because Alonso will break him.
Okay, Alonso will break him. You see, that's the biggest problem with driving with Alonso. And Alonso is an ass, man. So
yeah.
But driver briefings are gonna be interesting with Alonso back. What did I want to add? Maybe Perez might replace him.
Yeah, it's possible. We don't know. I think maybe if Perez does get screwed over by Racing Point, he might just like sort of not retire, but take a break, because like his situation is like really bad, and a lot of people don't realize, because he saved this whole team, and right now he's being pushed aside just because a four-time world champion has been put on the market.
But they said they're not going to ignore that fact that he saved the team, because for those who don't know, when Racing Point changed the name to Force, that was when I think Sportpesa also came to sponsor the team. Perez removed his own money to pay guys in the team, you see. So, and Perez really lifted the team up. Plus, I think guys know that Perez brings a very big Mexican sponsor, if I'm not wrong. One of the richest guys in Mexico.
Yeah, that's been for a long time though.
Yes, that's been for a very. So this is the thing. Perez might actually. There was a rumor that Perez may go to Haas. Do you see that happening? But I do not see Haas staying for. Okay, I see them staying till next year, but I do not see them staying till the new regulations.
They won't have money to stay further. This is the thing. Like, unlike teams like Williams have been through up and downs beforehand, and most of the time they get saved by their name. So because everyone knows who Williams is, everyone knows how successful they are, people always sponsor them and they always come in to help them because of that. But Haas, who is Haas?
No one cares who has. Haas, the Rich Energy left them midway through. That was so embarrassing. My God, that was me. But you see, like for Williams, the weekend wasn't so bad for Williams, even though they had a crash during qualifying.
No, it wasn't a crash. He just spun out.
That's basically a crash. Russell got 5 grid. Was it 5 or 3 place grid penalty?
Five grid penalty.
for not lifting during the yellow flag. But you see, George said he had lifted, so I don't know, and he had improved his time. So I think that was straight away 5 big penalty.
I mean, he
But you
might have
see,
lifted, but there's regulations by how much you have to
yes,
lift
by
when
how
it's a
much
yellow
you have
flag.
to
So he
lift.
might have not
But you
lifted
see,
enough.
but Williams okay. This season, I think next season is gonna be a very very good season for them, either, because they are slowly improving the car.
Yeah,
Right
they
now,
should get
they
more
are
points. Like it's
yes,
inevitable now. They're getting
yes,
into Q2
yes,
consistently now. And in Hungary, I think it was, he was really close to getting to Q3 as well. So I
yes.
do see them
Actually,
getting more
wait.
points this season.
This weekend last weekend he almost got into Q3 also. It's just that the lap that brought up the yellow flag was the I think the 3 minute, was it those 2 minutes on the clock left, and that's, you
No, it
see
was at
there
the
he
end.
had
It
already
was
slowed
already the
down.
end. It was the
Yeah,
final
it was
thing.
already at the end. It was the final one. So that I think he would have made it into Q3. But see, this shows that Williams with the new regulations, Williams is not going to be a joke. I think right now they finally got it a bit serious. Claire has stopped messing around. From next, cause the car, we can see the car is getting better and better. Dude, they're way quicker than Alpha, and way quicker than Haas. Right now they're racing Toro Rosso, you see, which is Alpha, you see. So they are not in such a bad place. Another team in a bad place is Alpha, man. I don't know what's going. Kimi, what happened to Kimi? What did he hit?
He hit something. I don't think he hit anything. I think there was some
Because
debris or something.
no, his wing was broken. His wing is the left side of the wing was broken, and that's where he got the puncture from. But what happened? Like, I think Alpha's pace is just bad. They're struggling more than Williams. Kimi is doing this as a hobby.
As I
So
said, like it's the same Ferrari power unit issue. Like Alpha was doing well last season with the Ferrari power unit. Even though they didn't have the best aero or chassis, the power unit was enough for them to get into the points quite often. But now
Yes,
they don't have that power unit anymore, so they're even in a worse position than Ferrari.
yes. Same goes for Haas. Haas since last year the first race, man. That was, I think, their only good time since
Yeah.
that first race, and I think as I said in the last, you weren't there for the last podcast, eh? Toto said that Red Bull has a quick car, but they are going the wrong direction with their updates. And I was reading something earlier on, just before we started, there's an article on Red Bull's rake theory. And the guy was saying that Red Bull's rake theory, you see, Mercedes isn't using it. Mercedes doesn't see the point. Because rake means you're riding the rear of the car slightly higher than the front. So you get more front end grip, if I'm not wrong.
And it squats the car down a little bit in the corners as
Yes.
well.
Yes. And also it's a long process where you have to also use the exhaust gases or something to add downforce, if I'm not wrong. But you see,
They've been running it for years, but yeah,
they've been
there's
running it
reasons
for
behind it.
years, but there've been teams. Okay, some teams, like, you remember Racing Point last year tried to copy them with the rake. The season after copying Mercedes, they just took the whole car. After copying Mercedes' car, there was no point. So I'm not sure if Red Bull should continue going that. Anyway, they've been using it for years. It's what got them championships, by the way. Rake was one of the main inventions that it came in and it won them so many races that it was quite shocking. You see.
Yeah.
So anyway, this weekend, what do you expect to see?
Honestly, I expect the same thing because if Pirelli haven't changed the tires at all, I expect to see the exact same thing with Bottas and Hamilton storming away from everyone else, and we'll just have more pit stops because people want to be safe about finishing the race. So I don't think there'll be much change. I think 1 and 2 I still think will be Mercedes. I think it's what happens after place 3 because I think Verstappen will still finish on the podium. It's everything
Yeah.
below that will be a bit more interesting, especially between McLaren and Renault, those two guys, and whether Racing Point will do better as well. So
We'll
that'll
do
be a
better
lot
than
more
last week.
interesting to see.
But they said that they actually took a risk because they went for a high downforce setup for Silverstone. And most teams, like for example, Ferrari took off so much downforce, man. Ferrari won I think we won like a Monza track setup. You see,
Yeah.
Red Bull and Mercedes, they have cars that they can go for a mid, both high and low downforce. You see, but for Ferrari, we took out a lot, especially on Vettel's car. Vettel really struggled. On now Racing Point, okay, I really want to see Hulkenberg. I genuinely want to see Hulkenberg get a podium with Racing Point. And you see,
I mean, if they get their stuff right here, he has a very good chance.
we shall see about that. What else is there to add? Okay, my prediction is, as you've said, it's I don't see anything happening. It's going to be like the second race in Austria. I don't see anything interesting happening because of this one is gonna be more boring than last week. So I think unless we get engine failures from Mercedes or something like that, so that we can have. But Hamilton's luck, that guy is really lucky. I think he's one of the luckiest guys we know. Because Bottas cannot catch a break, man.
I mean, yeah, that's like the biggest. Like we didn't even talk about it. Bottas didn't do anything wrong the whole race.
Dude,
He was on, like, it wasn't like previous races where he would fall behind 20 seconds behind Hamilton and never catch him again. They were 2 seconds apart for 90% of that race.
At some point, they started battling with the fastest lap times.
Yeah, exactly. It was between him and then they kept switching
Bottas
fastest
would
laps.
post, Hamilton would post, Bottas would post, Hamilton would post, but then, that honestly, okay, I feel really bad. That was because he's the only one. This has given Hamilton the championship. The championship is now Hamilton's.
Yeah, this is why I was angry after that race. It wasn't any about who wins. It's like the only person that could challenge this season got no points. So it's like, you know, that was the most angry part. It was the only person we have left to challenge the other Mercedes got no points.
Yes, and Hamilton right now, by the way, guys, for those who don't know, he's breaking his own records. Like, this guy has broken everyone else's records to the point that he's setting a new standard for, I think, the perfect, I don't know, should we call him the perfect Formula 1 driver? Because this guy has won everything. And this season
he's won every single decade since the 2000s, yeah.
He's going to equal Schumi this season. Like, it's not this after this last weekend, this is not even a debate. He's how many points ahead now?
30 points, because he was only 5 points ahead.
Yeah.
And then now he's 30.
Unless Hamilton gets engine
DNF
failure this weekend or a DNF, which we want to see a race. If Hamilton wins, just make it, please make it. Do you know, like, for example, in 2008 when Hamilton won, that was an interest. Because remember 2008 Brazil, when Massa thought she'd actually won the championship. Massa finished, dude, Ferrari guys were going mad, like, we are the champions, hey, and then Timo Glock. Timo Glock engine failure. I think that was one of the most heartbreaking and one of the most interesting seasons we have seen. You see, so that is what we want to see again. Like, it's been too easy. It's been too damn easy, man. And you see, Bottas is not giving Hamilton. We want that Nico Rosberg fight. You see, Nico would fight. Dude, how many times did Nico almost win? How many?
Yeah, since 2014, they've been like extremely close.
Hamilton would win in the last race, and all of those times, it's because Nico got engine failure. Like, it's that depressing. You see. Anyway, this weekend, let's just hope for let's hope for an interesting race. We want to see a good fight. Anyway, I think that's all for today. Ivan, you have anything else to add?
No, we've covered everything, I think.
I think we've covered everything. Anyway, okay guys, thanks for watching.